Hey guys, welcome to my very first game making tutorial. It's making a game in 30 minutes or less. I'm using Stencil, build 8734 in this version. Hopefully it's the same build so it works perfect for you, but who knows. So here's Stencil's starting screen. This is probably what yours looks like. You might have a game if you've been playing around. Just click here to create a new game. We're going to make a blank game. I'm going to call this Zombie Clicker. And the dimensions are fine. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is set up 3 different scenes. The first scene is going to be title. The reason I'm setting up title first is so that's automatically is the starting scene, but that doesn't really matter, you can always change it. Next one's going to be gameplay. And on this one I'm going to change it to this green color. And you'll see why, because that's actually our game scene. And then I'm going to make a third one, call this game over. And that white's fine on that one too, because now I'm going to go in and create 2 different backgrounds for those title and game over screens. So we'll call this title BG for background. Choose a frame, choose image, title, add, and then I'm going to add this to the scene title. And so Stencil uses layers here for their scenes, and as you can see, it put the title on the top layer, and I'm going to move that to the bottom layer just in case we ever decide to put something else on the other layer. It'll show up on top of the title. We're going to go back in and make a new background. Game over, BG. Choose the game over screen, add, and attach that one to the game over scene. And the same thing, I'm going to move the layers around. Alright, so we're done with the game over screen for a bit. We're done with both the backgrounds here, we don't need to use those. We're going to go to title and go up to events, and we're going to set up an event for this title screen. So I'm going to use another video where we actually explain all the logic and how to code different things, and I'll set up different systems and stuff like that for different videos. Where you can build this logic and understand what it does, but for now just follow along so you can see how simple it is to make a game once you have the basic understanding of Stencil and coding and art and things like that. So under under add event here, we're going to go to input, click. What this does is every time the mouse is clicked anywhere on the screen, whatever is inside this code block will happen. So when mouse is pressed, we're going to go to scene, game flow, switch to scene and crossfade, and I'm going to choose gameplay. And I'm going to do it for 1 second because I don't want to wait too long. So whenever the mouse is clicked anywhere on the screen, it'll switch to the gameplay screen and crossfade it. You can choose any of these different things. I'm just going to keep it on crossfade for now. Alright, so now we can test that if you want. Make sure your platform up here is set to Flash Player. You can set up different things, but I suggest Flash Player for now, just starting out, and then experiment with the other builds later on. And then click Test Game. We just click, and it takes us to the gameplay scene. Perfect. Alright, now what we want to do is go to the game over screen. Oh, not background. Under scenes here, click on game over, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have a loop to the title screen instead. So input, click, scene, game flow, switch to scene and crossfade, and we'll do title for 1 second. So if you get a game over, it'll loop you back to the title screen. And that's all the game over screen does, so we're done with that completely now. And the title also. Okay, so now we're on the gameplay screen, which is where the majority of our game takes place. We're going to head back to dashboard and create an actor to put on the title screen. We'll call this actor Zombie. And we'll add an animation. I'm going to call this Zombie Animation. And add a frame. Choose image. And here's my zombie up here. Now, I got this from opengameart.org, which is a great place to get art, free art for your games, for non-commercial games, especially for learning. So I set this up into an animation strip. It wasn't set up like this originally, so I know there's 11 frames and 11 columns. So we'll change that to 11, and you can see the little black boxes go around here. If the boxes are changed to say 10, you can see it cuts some of these guys in half, and it's going to totally mess up your animation, so it's got to be 11. And you can see in the preview here, he climbs out of the ground, which is cool. Now it's not going to affect the preview, but if you turn off looping, it'll make it so in the game, after his animation plays, it'll freeze on the last frame, so he'll just stand there, which makes sense because you don't want him to continuously climb out of the ground like he is here. Okay, so next we want to do is set up collisions for him. Right here we have this yellow box around his animation. It shows the first frame, but you know that his animation takes the whole box, basically. So what that means is anything that hits this yellow box will collide with it physically, or just you can use a sensor, and that's what we're going to do. Is over here under physical properties, we're going to turn on is a sensor, and what that means is that other zombies won't collide and push us around. It'll just spawn over the top of it, and that way you don't have objects moving the other objects around in the game. We don't want that for this game. If you wanted like bouncing balls or like a pool game or something like that, obviously you wouldn't want sensor because you don't want the balls to interact with each other physically. Okay, next thing we want to do is behaviors, and we're going to add a behavior to make this guy do something. So this is Stencil's library here. You have behaviors from this game, which have nothing yet. We haven't built anything, and then you have from the library here. And we're going to click on rules and die on click or touch. And you can edit this behavior up here to see what it actually does and what it looks like. And here it is. So when mouse is pressed on self, if the actor can be killed, it will kill the actor, which is pretty simple, really nothing crazy, but we're going to customize this a little bit and add a new attribute. So over here in your palette, click on attributes, and we're going to go to game attributes, and I'll explain the difference between those in another video, and all this logic in another video. And we're going to do create a new game attribute. We're going to call it score, and leave it on number and leave it on 0 for the initial value, because we don't want the score to start on anything but 0. And then we're going to drag set score above kill, not below, to click this little drop down caret, math, 0 plus 0, and we're going to call this one, another drop down caret, game attribute score plus 1. And I will explain in another video how that works and why. So what that does essentially is every time the zombie is clicked and killed, it'll set your score to whatever your score was before plus 1. Okay, now he is done. We can close that and close him, and now we can add him to the scene if you want to test it. Just make sure he works, which we'll do now. And then we need to set up a new event or behavior that allows us to respawn the zombie after he's clicked. Alright, so there he is. He pops up, and when we click him, he disappears.